Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the energy shift? Maybe someone greeted you warmly, but their smile didn't quite reach their eyes, or you noticed a subtle tension that wasn't spoken aloud. Reading people isn't just a skill, it's an art, a combination of science, psychology, and philosophy. It's the ability to see beneath the surface, to grasp emotions, intentions, and truths that are often hidden in plain sight. This art has been the cornerstone of great leaders, negotiators, and thinkers throughout history. But it's not magic. It's a skill that anyone can cultivate with practice. In this video, we'll embark on a journey to uncover 8 powerful techniques for reading people without them ever realizing it. These techniques, grounded in both modern science and ancient philosophies like Stoicism, Taoism, and Confucianism, will help you navigate relationships, professional interactions, and everyday encounters with greater insight. To understand the value of reading people, let's consider its practical applications. Imagine being able to detect dishonesty during a negotiation, sense discomfort in a colleague before they voice it, or anticipate someone's needs in a relationship without them having to ask. These skills aren't about manipulation, but about connection and understanding. By reading people effectively, you can adapt your approach, build trust, and make informed decisions. The Stoics believed in the power of perception, particularly when it came to understanding others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't be overheard complaining. Instead, think about how much more of a man you are to handle your own emotions and understand theirs." The ability to read people is deeply tied to mastering your own reactions and remaining calm and composed in the face of ambiguity. Now, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Only 15% of my audience is currently subscribed, so if these insights resonate with you, I'd love for you to join our community and turn on the notification bell to stay updated. The first step to reading people is observation, and this isn't as simple as just watching. Observation is about noticing the subtle details that others overlook, the flicker of an eyebrow, the slight shift in posture, the hesitation in someone's tone. These micro-details often tell a more honest story than the words someone speaks. Modern psychology has shown us that communication is predominantly non-verbal. Research by Dr. Albert Mehrabian revealed that 93% of communication comes from non-verbal cues like tone, body language, and facial expressions, while only 7% comes from words. This means that by honing your observational skills, you're tapping into the majority of the information someone is presenting. The first historical figure to master this was Abraham Lincoln. Known for his quiet demeanor, Lincoln often allowed others to speak at length while he observed. By simply remaining silent and watching, he gained critical insights into their character, motivations, and fears. Silence, as we'll explore later, is one of the most powerful tools in the art of reading people. Technique 1. The power of silence. One of the simplest yet most profound techniques is the deliberate use of silence. In conversation, people are often uncomfortable with pauses. When you stop speaking, they feel compelled to fill the void. This can lead them to reveal their true thoughts, emotions, or intentions without even realizing it. Let's say you're in a meeting and a colleague seems hesitant about a project. Instead of probing directly, you pause after their comments, creating a moment of silence. Chances are they'll feel the need to explain further, offering insights they hadn't intended to share. This technique doesn't just give you information, it also conveys authority and composure. The philosophical roots of this technique can be traced to Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the power of restraint, noting that speaking less often leads to better understanding. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's a space for reflection, observation, and insight. In my own life, I've used this technique countless times. During a job interview, for instance, I paused after the interviewer asked me a question. That moment of silence prompted them to clarify their expectations, giving me a clearer idea of how to tailor my response. By mastering silence, you gain the upper hand in any interaction, not by dominating the conversation, but by controlling its rhythm. Technique 2. Watch their feet. While many focus on facial expressions or gestures, the position of someone's feet often reveals their true intentions. Feet are less consciously controlled than hands or faces, making them an honest indicator of focus and desire. For example, in a social setting, if someone's feet are pointed toward the door, even as they engage in conversation, it's a sign that they'd rather leave. Similarly, during a negotiation, if someone's feet suddenly shift toward you, it indicates growing engagement or agreement. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most astute leaders, was known for his keen observation of body language, including foot positioning. He used this to gauge loyalty and detect hidden dissent among his generals. While most focused on words, Napoleon read the unspoken language of their bodies. To use this technique, start by observing people in neutral settings. Pay attention to where their feet point during relaxed conversations. Once you've established a baseline, deviations from it will become glaringly obvious, giving you a window into their subconscious thoughts. Technique 3. The weight of words. Words may only account for 7% of communication, but they still hold immense power, particularly the words people repeat or emphasize. Repetition often signals underlying concerns, priorities, or emotions. Imagine a friend repeatedly mentioning how busy they are during a conversation. This isn't just idle talk. It's a reflection of their stress or a subtle request for understanding. By tuning into these verbal patterns, you can uncover hidden emotions or needs. Philosophers like Seneca taught that speech reveals the mind's workings. He believed that by listening carefully, one could discern not just what someone was saying, but why they were saying it. In practice, this means focusing not just on the content of someone's words, but on their context, delivery, and repetition. To practice this, try active listening during your next conversation. Instead of planning your response, focus entirely on the other person's words. Note any recurring phrases or topics, their windows into their deeper thoughts and feelings. As we progress through these techniques, it's essential to remember the philosophical principles underpinning them. Stoicism teaches us to seek clarity and remain detached from immediate judgments. Confucianism emphasizes empathy and understanding in human interactions. By combining these philosophies with modern science, we gain a comprehensive toolkit for reading people effectively. In the next sections, we'll delve into more advanced techniques, exploring how microexpressions, tone, and even omissions can reveal someone's inner world. These insights will not only sharpen your observational skills, but also deepen your empathy and connection with others. Stay tuned as we continue this journey into the art of subtle perception, uncovering techniques that have shaped history and can transform your life. Reading people is not about manipulation, it's about understanding. It's about seeing the world through someone else's eyes while maintaining the clarity of your own perspective. This chapter will focus on advanced techniques, skills honed by historical figures, backed by science, and rooted in philosophy that you can use to navigate relationships and situations with confidence and insight. Microexpression Mastery, a window into true emotions. Let's start with one of the most powerful tools in your observational arsenal, Microexpressions. These fleeting facial expressions last for less than a second and reveal true emotions, whether joy, anger, sadness, or fear, even if someone tries to hide them. The study of microexpressions gained prominence through the work of psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman. He discovered that these involuntary expressions are universal, crossing cultures and languages. Whether you're in Tokyo, Paris, or New York, a look of surprise or anger will look the same. Imagine you're in a business meeting, negotiating a deal. You present an offer, and for a fraction of a second, your counterpart's face tightens in a micro-expression of disdain before they recover and respond with a neutral tone. That fleeting reaction tells you everything you need to know about their true feelings toward your proposal. Historical leaders like Queen Elizabeth I mastered this art intuitively. She was known for her ability to gauge her court's mood with just a glance, using subtle shifts in expression to decide whom to trust. How can you practice this skill? Start by observing people in your everyday life. Watch videos of interviews, paying close attention to the moments just before someone answers a tough question. Over time, you'll train your brain to spot these fleeting clues, giving you an edge in reading emotions accurately. Tone and pace, the sound beneath the words. Have you ever noticed how someone's tone of voice can completely change the meaning of their words? A simple "I'm fine" can signal frustration, sadness, or indifference, depending on the tone, pace, and pitch with which it's delivered. The voice is a powerful tool, revealing emotions that words may try to mask. Research in psycholinguistics shows that changes in vocal tone and rhythm are often involuntary, providing a reliable indicator of someone's emotional state. Take, for example, the legendary speaker, Winston Churchill. Known for his commanding presence, Churchill wasn't just skilled at delivering words. He mastered the art of using tone and pace to influence and inspire. During tense negotiations, he listened intently to the cadence of his opponents, discerning hesitation, conviction, or doubt. In your daily life, pay attention to how people speak, not just what they say. Is their pace unusually fast? This might indicate nervousness. Is their tone low and steady? It could signal confidence or careful calculation. To sharpen this skill, try listening to conversations without watching the speakers. Focus solely on tone and pace to interpret emotions. Over time, you'll find that your ears can hear the subtext of any conversation. The baseline approach, understanding the norm to detect the exception. Before you can interpret someone's behavior, you need to understand what's normal for them. This is the baseline approach, a critical technique for accurately reading people. A baseline is essentially someone's usual behavior in neutral settings. By establishing this, you can detect deviations that signal stress, dishonesty, or excitement. For example, a typically talkative friend suddenly goes quiet during a discussion. This break from their norm suggests that something is on their mind. Sherlock Holmes, the fictional but iconic detective, was a master of baselines. He observed people in their ordinary states, noting every detail about their speech, posture, and habits. When something deviated, he knew exactly where to focus his attention. To establish a baseline, spend time observing people in relaxed settings. Note their typical tone, gestures, and expressions. Once you've identified their norm, any deviation will stand out like a flare in the night, guiding you toward a deeper understanding of their state of mind. The echo effect, mirroring for rapport. Humans are social creatures, wired for connection. One of the ways we establish rapport is through mirroring, subtly mimicking someone's posture, gestures, or tone. This is often unconscious, but it can be a powerful tool for understanding and building trust. Imagine you're in a job interview. The interviewer crosses their arms, leans forward, and speaks in a calm, measured tone. By subtly mirroring their posture and speech patterns, you create a sense of connection, making them feel more at ease with you. Julius Caesar, the Roman general and statesman, was known for using mirroring during his military campaigns. By adopting the demeanor of his soldiers, he inspired loyalty and fostered a sense of camaraderie, even in the most challenging circumstances. To use the echo effect, start by observing whether someone mirrors you. If they do, it's a sign that they feel comfortable and connected. If not, try subtly matching their movements or tone to create a sense of alignment. Be careful, though. Mirroring must be natural and subtle. Overdoing it can come across as insincere. The power of what's left. Unsaid. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. What someone doesn't say can be as revealing as what they do. This technique is about noticing omissions, avoided topics, or gaps in a narrative. For example, a friend shares a story about a recent vacation, but conspicuously avoids mentioning a partner who would typically feature in such tales. This omission might hint at tension or change in their relationship. Philosophers like Lao Tzu emphasize the wisdom of silence, teaching that understanding often comes from what is unsaid. In his words, "The wise man is one who knows what he does not say." To practice this, pay attention to patterns in conversations. What topics does someone consistently avoid? What details do they leave out? Asking open-ended questions can gently encourage them to fill in the gaps, often revealing more than they intended. As we dive deeper into these techniques, it becomes clear that reading people is both an art and a science. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to look beyond the obvious. By mastering skills like observing microexpressions, listening to tone, and understanding what's left unsaid, you'll not only enhance your perception, but also deepen your relationships and improve your decision-making. The art of reading people is akin to decoding a complex puzzle, and body language often holds the missing pieces. While words can be calculated and manipulated, the body tends to betray the truth. In this section, we'll delve into advanced techniques for interpreting body language, drawing from history's most perceptive leaders and integrating ancient philosophical principles. These insights will help you uncover hidden emotions, decipher unspoken messages, and anticipate actions, all without uttering a single word. Body language, the silent communicator. It's often said that actions speak louder than words, and this couldn't be truer when it comes to body language. From subtle shifts in posture to fleeting gestures, the human body communicates volumes about a person's thoughts and feelings. Learning to decode these signals requires a keen eye and an understanding of context. Take the example of crossed arms. In isolation, this gesture is often interpreted as defensive or closed off, but context matters. If someone is seated in a cold room, crossing their arms might simply be a way to stay warm. The key to reading body language is observing clusters of gestures rather than single actions. A person with crossed arms, furrowed brows, and averted eyes is likely feeling defensive, while crossed arms accompanied by a smile and relaxed posture might signal comfort. This principle of interpreting clusters mirrors the Stoic practice of seeking clarity. As Marcus Aurelius observed, "Look closely, and you will see the truth of the matter." Stoics advocated for careful observation without rushing to conclusions, a mindset that's invaluable when interpreting nonverbal cues. Hands are one of the most expressive parts of the body. They reveal nervousness through fidgeting, confidence through open gestures, and deception through concealment. Observing how someone uses their hands can provide insights into their emotional state and intentions. For instance, A speaker who uses expansive hand gestures likely feels confident and engaged, while someone who keeps their hands hidden may be experiencing insecurity or withholding information. This is why skilled negotiators often place their hands on the table, palms up, to convey openness and honesty. Now, some exciting news. Our channel now offers a 24/7 live stream, streaming Stoic wisdom and insights around the clock. Plus, by joining our members club, you'll unlock exclusive benefits, deeper content dives, and personal insights. Join us on this journey, and let's build a meaningful life together. And I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write "better every day" so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Also, I've linked some books on Stoicism that helped me become the man I am today, and will also help you achieve a Stoic mindset. Historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci were keen observers of hand gestures. His detailed studies of anatomy weren't just for artistic purposes, they also informed his understanding of human behavior. Da Vinci believed that hands, as much as faces, were windows to the soul. To practice this skill, start by observing how people use their hands in everyday situations. Note any patterns or changes. For example, if a normally expressive individual suddenly becomes still, it could indicate discomfort or an attempt to hide something. The eyes, the most honest communicators. The eyes are the window to the soul, as the old saying goes, and this sentiment holds true in the art of reading people. Eye contact, blinking patterns, and pupil dilation are all powerful indicators of a person's internal state. Prolonged eye contact often signals confidence or dominance, while frequent blinking can indicate nervousness or stress. Similarly, pupils tend to dilate when someone is interested or excited, and constrict when they're disinterested or uncomfortable. These subtle changes can reveal a wealth of information in high-stakes situations, from interviews to negotiations. Napoleon Bonaparte was a master of eye contact. He used his piercing gaze to intimidate adversaries and command respect from his troops. This level of focus often disarmed those around him, making them feel both seen and unsettled. In your own interactions, try maintaining consistent but natural eye contact. Notice how others respond. Do they hold your gaze, look away, or avoid eye contact entirely? These reactions can offer clues about their confidence, interest, or discomfort. While we touched on micro-expressions earlier, it's worth revisiting this powerful technique with a more nuanced approach. Recognizing micro-expressions isn't just about spotting fleeting emotions, it's about understanding their context and significance. For example, imagine a friend flashes a micro-expression of anger during a seemingly light-hearted conversation. This doesn't necessarily mean they're angry with you. It could be a reaction to a memory or thought triggered by the discussion. Context is key. To refine your ability to detect micro-expressions, practice in controlled environments such as watching interviews or reality shows where emotions run high. Pause the video to analyze facial expressions, then consider the context. This practice will sharpen your observational skills and help you interpret these subtle cues more accurately in real-life situations. Detecting incongruence, when words and actions clash. One of the most telling signs in human behavior is incongruence, a mismatch between what someone says and how they act. This is where body language and verbal communication diverge, revealing hidden truths. Imagine someone assures you they're confident about a decision, but their body tells a different story. They avoid eye contact, fidget, and shift their weight nervously. These discrepancies suggest that their words may not align with their true feelings. Confucius emphasized the importance of congruence, teaching that harmony between words and actions is a sign of integrity. By observing incongruence in others, you can gain deeper insights into their character and intentions. To detect incongruence, pay attention to baseline behavior. Once you've established how someone typically acts, deviations become easier to spot. When words and actions don't align, trust the actions. They're often more reliable indicators of the truth. The role of space and proximity. Proxemics, or the study of personal space, is another critical aspect of reading people. The distance someone maintains during an interaction can signal their comfort level, intentions, and relationship dynamics. For instance, a colleague who stands unusually close during a conversation might be signaling trust or intimacy. Conversely, someone who steps back when you approach may feel uncomfortable or defensive. Cultural norms also play a role in proxemics. In some cultures, close physical proximity is a sign of warmth and connection, while in others, it's considered intrusive. Understanding these nuances can help you interpret behavior more accurately. Julius Caesar understood the power of proximity in building alliances. By physically positioning himself close to his allies, he fostered a sense of trust and camaraderie, strengthening his influence within the Roman Senate. To practice this technique, observe how people adjust their distance in different contexts. Note how proximity changes based on relationships, emotions, or settings. This awareness will enhance your ability to gauge comfort and connection. Empathy and detachment, a philosophical balance. As you hone your skills in reading people, it's essential to balance empathy with detachment. Empathy allows you to connect with others and understand their emotions, while detachment ensures that you don't internalize their stress or negativity. Stoicism teaches the importance of this balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By staying grounded in your own perspective, you can observe others without being swayed by their emotions. Empathy, on the other hand, is central to Confucian philosophy, which emphasizes the importance of understanding and harmony in relationships. Combining these two approaches allows you to read people effectively while maintaining your own emotional equilibrium. As we reach the final leg of our journey into the art of reading people without them knowing, it's time to bring theory into practice. Understanding human behavior is powerful, but the true value lies in applying this knowledge to improve relationships, navigate conflicts, and achieve your goals. In this final section, we'll explore real-life scenarios where these techniques shine, analyze how historical figures mastered them, and discuss how they can help you thrive in your personal and professional life. The social chameleon, adapting to any situation. Imagine walking into a room filled with strangers. Within moments, you can sense the mood, identify the most influential individuals, and adjust your approach accordingly. This ability to adapt is the hallmark of a social chameleon, someone who uses observational skills to seamlessly integrate into any environment. Start by scanning the room for dominant body language. Who stands tall with open gestures? Who commands attention without saying much? These individuals are likely the influencers in the group. Pay attention to their tone, topics of interest, and energy level. Matching these subtly, not mimicking but aligning, creates a sense of connection and rapport. Historical figures like Benjamin Franklin were adept social chameleons. Franklin's ability to read and adapt to people helped him negotiate alliances during the American Revolution. By understanding the cultural nuances and personalities of French diplomats, he won their trust and support. To practice this skill, observe how people interact in various settings, from casual gatherings to formal meetings. Note their pace of speech, choice of words, and non-verbal cues. Adapting to these can make you more relatable and persuasive. Conflict is inevitable, but the ability to read people can turn tense situations into opportunities for resolution. By understanding the underlying emotions and motivations driving the conflict, you can address the root cause rather than the surface issue. Let's say a colleague seems unusually hostile during a meeting. Instead of reacting defensively, observe their body language and tone. Are they crossing their arms, avoiding eye contact, or speaking in short, clipped sentences? These signals might indicate frustration or insecurity. Acknowledging their emotions without judgment can diffuse tension. For example, saying, "It seems like something's on your mind. Would you like to talk about it?" shows empathy and opens the door for constructive dialogue. Nelson Mandela was a master of conflict resolution through empathy and observation. During South Africa's transition from apartheid, he read the fears of both sides, those clinging to power and those demanding change. By addressing their concerns with understanding, he fostered unity and avoided widespread violence. In your own life, approach conflicts with curiosity rather than judgment. Observe not just what people say, but how they say it. This deeper understanding allows you to find solutions that satisfy everyone involved. The power of influence. Reading to lead. Leadership requires more than issuing commands. It demands understanding, empathy, and influence. By reading people effectively, you can inspire trust, motivate action, and foster loyalty. Consider a team member who seems disengaged. Their lack of eye contact and slouched posture suggest low morale. Instead of reprimanding them, approach the situation with curiosity. Ask open-ended questions like, "How are you feeling about the current project?" or "Is there anything I can do to support you?" These questions show that you value their input and well-being. One of the greatest examples of leadership through understanding was Abraham Lincoln. During the Civil War, Lincoln often visited his troops to observe their morale firsthand. By reading their emotions and addressing their concerns directly, he earned their unwavering loyalty and commitment. To apply this in your leadership journey, practice active listening. Pay attention not just to what's being said, but to how it's being communicated. Use this information to tailor your approach, ensuring that your team feels heard and supported. Dating and relationships, building deeper connections. In the realm of personal relationships, the ability to read people can create stronger, more meaningful connections. By understanding your partner's unspoken needs and emotions, you can foster trust and intimacy. For example, suppose your partner is unusually quiet after a long day. Instead of pressing them to talk, observe their behavior. Are they withdrawing to process their thoughts, or do they seem tense and in need of reassurance? Responding appropriately, whether by giving them space or offering comfort, shows emotional intelligence and strengthens your bond. Cleopatra, the legendary Queen of Egypt, was known for her ability to captivate and connect with those around her. By observing their desires and insecurities, she built alliances and maintained her influence in a turbulent political landscape. To cultivate this skill, practice mindfulness in your interactions. Pay attention to subtle changes in tone, posture, or facial expressions. These cues often reveal more about someone's feelings than words ever could. Negotiation. Mastery, using insight to win. Negotiation is as much about understanding the other party as it is about presenting your case. By reading people effectively, you can anticipate objections, identify leverage points, and craft proposals that resonate. Before entering a negotiation, observe your counterpart's demeanor. Are they confident or hesitant? eager, or reserved. These initial impressions can guide your approach. During the conversation, watch for signs of agreement or resistance. A subtle nod might indicate alignment, while crossed arms suggest defensiveness. Henry Kissinger, a master negotiator, often relied on keen observation to achieve diplomatic breakthroughs. By understanding the motivations and fears of foreign leaders, he found common ground and secured agreements that seemed impossible. In your negotiations, combine observation with strategic questioning. For instance, asking, "What's most important to you in this deal?" reveals priorities and opens the door for collaboration. Reading people is not just a skill, it's a philosophy. It embodies the Stoic principle of understanding others without being consumed by their emotions. It reflects Confucian ideals of harmony and connection, and it channels the wisdom of history's greatest leaders who used their insights to shape the world. As you apply these techniques, remember that mastery takes time. Practice patience, cultivate empathy, and stay committed to the pursuit of understanding. The more you observe, the clearer the human tapestry becomes, revealing patterns that guide your interactions and elevate your life. In the words of Seneca, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Let your observations lead not just to advantage, but to appreciation for the complexity, vulnerability, and beauty of the human experience. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found value in these insights, I encourage you to share your own stories of connection and understanding. Together, we can build a world where empathy and awareness light the path forward. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.